Hey everybody, it's Moonbo here, and welcome back to another episode of Scrap Mechanics City, a series where I have been making loads of city builds and hoping to one day put them all together. In this episode, I am extremely pleased to show you guys a hockey arena that I have been working on. Now, I have to mention, it is not entirely finished per se. There is a whole bunch of extra detail that I could be adding, and I would love to get your feedback on whether or not you'd like to see me expand on this specific build a little bit more or move on to something different. So let me know down in the comments. But we are going to get right into this build, and we're going to head inside. So I'm going to warn you guys, of course, that in here it is not the most finished of all things. You can see there are some odd little pieces like this that aren't really complete, and I was starting to run into some FPS issues, as I usually do in my builds, but you guys can see that this build is absolutely massive. I have so many seats. I've considered removing like half of the seats actually and simplifying the build a little bit and probably gaining some more FPS, and that would allow me to add more detail because we can actually walk up the row here, as you can see, and there is like a wraparound kind of area up here with a lot of room. Actually, there is a load of room up in each corner of this build. I tried my best to do like stadium seating that wrapped all the way around, so you can see down here I tried my best. I did it in each corner, but of course I'm pretty limited to how round I can make things in this game. But overall, I am extremely happy with this build. It is a lot of fun, and I have to say that the hockey rink is actually a module on its own, and I have it saved on a lift as a half piece, so you can actually make your own hockey rink without needing this entire flashy arena. But we're going to head over to those red seats over there and get the lights turned on, and we will hopefully get a better view of this area. Alright, here we are in the seat, ready to turn the lights on. So as you can see, there are two switches here, simply the 1 and 2 key, like so. So if you press the 1 key on this seat, it'll turn the lights on for the entire arena. So there you go, it does light it up quite a bit actually. You can see there's like a little makeshift scoreboard, as well as a whole bunch of stadium lighting on top that really does make it look a lot shinier. And I actually have the 2 key, which is like some special amped up lighting, so you can see I've only done 4 of them. I could probably make a couple more. So like I was saying, I can definitely expand on this build and make this arena even more epic than it already is. But we're going to turn those special lights off and just get a little bit of a better look down on the ice here. So we can hop right down. You can see I even added some of the post lights here, so if someone were to score a goal, someone could be back here, press the light on. You probably wouldn't have anyone. I thought of putting a sensor into the net here, but I realized that the pucks are way too small. So we can get into the rink and shut that door behind us. So you can see, this is one of my favorite parts of this build actually, is the hockey net. So you can see you can actually pick it up on a lift, and you can have a look-see what it actually looks like when it's on a lift. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but if you remove the lift like so, you'll see it kind of snaps into position. And one thing I wanted to do was make it so that it was kind of like a real hockey net. So you can see there is an extended post on either side right here. So I can actually take that, put it on the lift. So you can see I have a slightly marked area right here for the lift that you can put it on. And all you need to do is actually raise the lift up all the way up to about here and remove that, and it'll land right in place actually. So it took me a couple tries to figure out where that area was, but it turned out really, really good. And so you can see I actually have a little bit of hockey pucks here as well. So there's a net on either side, and this is actually a lot of fun. If you take your hammer like so, you can actually get around to hitting these pucks, and after a couple bounces, you can see, oh, look at that, I just scored. You can actually get a lot of speed on these balls now, or sorry, the pucks. So if I hit it up like this and then hit it a second time, it's not the easiest thing to do. There we go. So you can see it does go pretty far after a second hit once it gains a bit of momentum. So I was thinking actually, what do you guys think about maybe doing multiplayer Monday in this hockey rink and doing like some type of hockey challenge? I don't know. We'll have to think of something, but let me know what you think of that. So of course this is a nice view here of the scoreboard up above, just a whole bunch of lights, and they're all connected actually to a logic gate, which is connected to the switch way over there. So what I did was use logic gates at each light station. I don't know why I had such a hard time saying that, jeez. At each light station there is a logic gate, and you can actually just use that as like a a proxy, so that way you don't have to connect all of these lights all the way down to that switch. You just hook them up to a logic gate and connect it at the other end, so you only have to do one instead of a whole bunch. So we can move on over this way now. We can have a look-see. There are some player benches, of course. If only I could hit the switch. There we go. So you can see I added like what you could imagine to be like rubber mats on the bottom for your skates. And you can obviously, you know, sit on the bench and relax and watch the game. Watch your teammates win or lose. And of course there's one on this side as well. One is labeled with a blue color and the other one with red. And over on this side here, I figure, you know what, you gotta have, like, penalty boxes, so I did add some penalty boxes right here, you can see, somewhere that you would be on a timeout, of course, if you're doing some bad things in the game. And so that's pretty much it for the hockey rink. If I show you guys, you can actually see that this is simply glass with concrete below it, so I did not paint the glass, it's just white concrete with glass above it, and so obviously on the concrete I did all of the painting, so it gives you that really, really nice icy effect, and I mean, I think this is one of my favorite city builds so far as like, you know, creativity, something that's unique, really cool. So we can go out this way to the back room. So here, obviously, is the Zamboni. Now, this was actually a lot of fun to make. So I'm just going to pick this up and point it in the right direction here. So you can see that it has the scraper on the back. It also has the spinning brushes on the side. And this is like the storage container for all the shaved ice that you would remove from the top of the rink. So if we hop in here, we got 3 buttons. The one key is actually the button that will open that up and dump out any of the ice that you've gathered. The 2 key will bring down the blade so you can just kind of skim the ice and smoothen it. And then the 3 key is what will get all of the boards cleaned down in the seams. So let's drive this out onto the rink here. I'm wondering, hopefully that hockey net is not in the way actually. If it is, we'll just bump it. Let's try and just, come on, there we go. Alright. Get out of there, hockey net. Let's do this. Zamboni. Turn that on. Screw you, hockey net. We're gonna get this. Alright, there we go. Smooth as butter. Alright, so there we go. As you can see, this Zamboni is rear wheel steering, so it does make it a little bit difficult sometimes to maneuver around. I try my best to stay off the wall, but obviously that net there is in the way, but you can usually do some pretty swift-looking turns, and definitely try and avoid that wall, because once you touch that wall, I find it'll suck you in, and then you have to get this Zamboni on a lift again. So, I mean, it's pretty fast. If it's any faster, it does wheelies, but I think that's really just because of the electric motor. They have a tendency to really, like, bite down on the ground and do some weird things. But you can see it's pretty easy to drive. I can maneuver this around this corner nice and smooth like that. Turn everything off and obviously just open that up and have the ice come out. So a neat little addition to this build was the Zamboni, of course. Nothing too special, of course, though. And one thing I want to point out as well, if you get your connection tool out and you go underneath the bleachers here, you can actually see like this weird 3D representation of the hockey arena. You can actually get a real sense of the depth. You can even see the scoreboard up there as well. So it's almost like having X-ray vision, actually, which is kind of funny. But I'm going to sneak over this way. I'm going to make a shortcut right here. This place is huge. So over here, though, this is where the players would be, of course. I made some quick changing rooms, just to kind of get the idea on the ground, at least. So like I was saying earlier in this episode, if you guys do want to see more of this hockey arena with some updates, I would be more than happy to keep working on it. I've put a couple days into this build so far, and I actually wanted to mention as well that I have been over 1,000 hours in Scrap Mechanic for a little while now. I think I'm at like 1,100 and something, which is just something absolutely amazing. I can't believe that I've actually reached such a high number in the game of Scrap Mechanic so quickly. So I want to thank you all for all of your support in this entire Scrap Mechanic journey. I hope you guys have been enjoying the builds. Now, how about hitting that like button for 1,000 hours of Scrap Mechanic? I'm sure there are plenty of other people out there who are dedicated just like me, so they know the feeling as well. This game does require quite a bit of patience, and it does take that creativity as well. So thank you so much, guys, for supporting me and enjoying the videos and hitting that like button. And of course, if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you subscribe for Endless Scrap Mechanic. And I will be seeing you guys in the next one. Bye for now.